It is Charles Botensten, and all right, I just really wanted to go live. So it's Sunday, 9:38 right now. I haven't, hair is a little bit of a mess. I just biked up here. I don't really care. I just had to go over this because I'm watching. I'm watching this show or whatever the heck it is on YouTube and everything else, and then there was this Tess Holliday, Cosmopolitan. If you don't know who Tess Holliday is, she is an obese model. And I say model because she actually, well, you know what? I would say that she gets paid to be on covers of magazines. Well, she was on Cosmo, and Pierce Morgan tweeted something out about a picture of saying someone that's a size 0 and someone that is as large as Tess Holliday is not good, saying that that's, body positivity and things like that. Let's just talk about the fact of every comment on there, which is, it's all about loving yourself. Just love yourself. Everyone love themselves. This is really what it comes down to, is that loving yourself is not, it is really, really, really hard to convince. You have to be a guy, say, of Donald Trump's mental gymnastics to convince yourself that you are always right, okay? His conviction on everything is just, it's literally borderline, how are you able to do that? He's just borderline, just regardless of what anyone else says, he just believes what he believes. It's actually kind of fascinating to see. I'm not even talking about politics. It's just, he's just convinced. So that is the level of just, you actually, so what I'm saying is, typical confidence comes from one thing, which is you've done it and you know you could do it again. I went to the gym and I know I could do it again. I went on a long bike ride. I know I could do it again. That is confidence. Your body cannot, in other words, what I'm saying is there's only 0.0001% of people that can convince themselves they are the best without already being the best. One of them is Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor was not even a belt holder before he was saying, he wasn't even in the UFC at that time. And he was saying, I'm gonna win, I'm gonna be the best. In other words, what I'm saying right now, what's going on, Adam, how we doing? What I'm saying is that confidence comes from doing. Confidence comes from doing and living. Because your body doesn't know when you go for a run or a hike or approach that pretty girl or ask that guy out or call for sales, and your body doesn't know if you're going to survive. So your body says, don't do that because I don't know if we're going to actually, there's two things. I don't know if we're going to survive. And back in the day is if we survived, we would get kicked out of the tribe because it was embarrassing or shameful, okay? That's why we don't like doing things in public. That's why we can walk around naked in private, but once we have other people around, we can't walk around naked. The truth of self-confidence is coming. What's going on, Chris? The truth of confidence, we have to understand this. This is my biggest issue with the law of attraction, is that you can think your way into stuff. You can't think yourself into action. You have to do the action. You actually have to do it. That is my issue with law of attraction. That is my issue. That is my issue with body positivity. That is my issue with just loving yourself. Okay? You can't love yourself if you're a lazy piece of shit sitting on your couch just pounding your meat all day, eating yourself into oblivion. You can't love yourself. You can't. You can't. Those people are not happy, regardless of what they write on the internet, regardless of what they say publicly. Why? Because it is against your psychology. It is actually, you are going against millions of years of biology and chemistry, psychology. It's against your neural networks, okay? The reason I'm getting fired up is that, okay, so we have science, and there's a lot of people that are denying science. There's this YouTube channel that I follow. It's called the Red Man Group. I don't agree with most of what they say because it's just short of MGTOW. MGTOW is men that go their own way. But for me, I like the science that they bring up from it. They say biologically, it's been proven that there is a type that women prefer. Men with broad shoulders, men that protect, men that are taller, men that have resources, men that had resources back in the day were leaders, or men that could lead, or that they can go out and hunt and things like that. That was because that was necessary back in the day, okay, for millions of years. I think you're wrong in my experience thinking the person is. Listen, this is the thing. Chris, I don't know how many times you've gone to a Tony Robbins event. I am friends with those people on Facebook. They are not better off because they're thinking their way into it, okay? There is a level of delusion that I was going through that I said, I'm gonna get more business. I will be more happy. Yes, maybe if you're at the lowest rung and you need to convince yourself, but after that, it literally comes down to action. I can't think my way into a relationship. I can't think my way into money. I actually have to pick up the phone and make the call. There's literally right here, there's something called optimized. So this is, I don't know if you could see it, but there's where is it? Okay, optimizing algorithms. So this is Brian Johnson. Brian Johnson has a master class of algorithms, which means that algorithms is going to rule the world. Algorithms, when I wake up, I do this. When I do this, I then meditate. When I meditate, I then journal. When I journal, I pick up my bag and I go to the gym. When I then go to the gym, if you can't control what you think about, you can't. Yes, all right. So there's a component. I'm not throwing it out of the water. What I'm saying is that the people that are delusionally saying, I am healthy, I am rich, but they're not actually rich. It's not that they're not actually rich, it's that they're taking no action and they're denying the science, they're denying their bank account, and they're literally, they're saying this. So this is what happens. This is what happens, okay? And the reason I say this is because when I first went to my first Tony Robbins event in 2009, I was around all these people that were happy and successful. They were amazing to be around, their energy, their enthusiasm, and I was like, holy shit, I want a piece of this. I was 20, whatever at the time, 2009 minus whatever I am now, so say, call it 24, okay? I was 24, I was never exposed to any of this, so I said, holy shit, I want to friend all of these people. So I started becoming friends with all these people, then I started seeing them over the years, I started seeing their progress, I started seeing my progress, and what I noticed is that they were all older, so I was like, I want to learn from these people. I want to be like these people. I want to have what they have. I want to see what they do. So then they started posting socially. Then I started seeing them at events. And then I started noticing one common thing. They were saying something. They were projecting something, but they were not actually doing anything. Their life was not any better. Years later, their life was not any better. It's that rapper that's selling DVDs. 100%. Chris, what we're talking about right now, and what you're talking about right now is what I'm saying right now is more of the macro thinking of society, where it's saying, just love yourself, just the way you are. You're poor and almost going into depression. Love yourself, love your body. No, your body is breaking down. Your body is actually, so they're delusionally, so what I'm talking about is the trigger of Cosmopolitan putting out, and obviously it's nothing about Cosmopolitan or Cosmo, whatever you want to call the magazine, because the magazine just wants to sell. That's what it is. It's the same thing with news. I have nothing against Fox, CNBC, CNN, or any of the other channels, because all they want to do is just sell programming. That's it. That's all they want to do. They are in the business of making money. Okay? It's like someone that is a figure to be disruptive just to be a disruptive figure because that's what they get paid to do. You know, that's what they get paid to do. Okay? If you're an athlete and you don't perform, you can't really say you're an athlete because you're no longer an athlete. Maybe at one time you're an athlete. Maybe at one time you were rich. But this is what it comes down to, is that Tess Holliday, who's 300 and something, she's 5'3", 300 and something pounds, and it's body positivity. The thing is, and it's, there's okay, Chris, this is the difference, okay? The difference is that they are saying, why are you shaming her? Why are you shaming someone that is maybe going through something tough, okay? So for her, she's putting out an image of a model and that's healthy and everything else. I'm good to go. She's young enough that her body hasn't gone through decades of this, so she's fine. But if you keep on putting your weight on these joints, your ligaments and everything is gonna start breaking down. It's a fact. That's science. You can't think your way through that. What I'm saying is, this body positivity and the actual truth, the whole point of the video, the whole truth to self-confidence is that you actually have to do something to get the confidence to keep on doing it. Action supersedes thinking about it, okay? I thought about it for years. I thought about it. I meditated on it. I had the law of attraction. Once you get past that, then you have to go and you start taking action, okay? I still to this day think about a company that doesn't even exist 10 years down the line. I still think about myself on stage almost every single day. Almost every single day I think of myself on stage in front of thousands of people. That, Chris, is correct. And that is what Napoleon Hill was talking about. Okay, delusion, see, I guess it's really comes down to nomenclature. So I'm using the broad term thinking, okay, instead of thought. The broad term thought and thinking, I think what it comes down to is your actual goal. So what Tess Holliday and all these other people are saying is their actual goal is to be self-confident. Their actual goal is to love their body. Their goal is not a result of being thin. Their result is not to be rich. That's the difference. Their goal is just to love themselves the way they are. That can't happen. You actually have to do something to actually get to that point. You actually have to start making and seeing progress. As Tony Robbins says, is that the way to actual confidence, the way to actually momentum is to see some minute piece of progress. I get a new deal. I lose a pound. I see that my pants fit a little bit more. That is the confidence. And the opposite of confidence is that you get fatter. You start spending more money. You're not saving any money. You're further from your goal, okay? I think that's really what it comes down to. 100% agree is that thought, you have to control your thought. What I'm saying is that if you're controlling your thought and your end goal, your end result, your outcome is actually just to love yourself, I don't know. Listen, I don't know. Maybe you could do that. Maybe you could just walk around and just say, I love myself. I love myself. And yes, Brian Tracy has talked about that. And yes, I think that is the basis. That is the basis to getting from average and anything below to above average and anything beyond. I think that is the equilibrium, the borderline, okay? And I can tell you anything, if you're from here, if you're here and you're average, and you're in the DER state where you're walking around and the world is just coming at you and you're the victim of circumstances, you have no control over everything. Even yesterday on my ride, I was biking around New York City, it was pitch black, and I was thinking about it. I said, what is the difference? This is what I mean, is that I want to be so self-aware that I understand what is the difference between me, someone that hasn't made the difference that I want, and someone that actually has made the difference on what they want. Because I'm so far along on the journey right now that from here to the next step, the only way is action. The only way forward is action, okay? And Chris, you are 100% correct, is that thought, controlling your thoughts, and obviously psycho-cybernetics, and anything beyond that, Bob Proctor, it all starts with thought. And so my end goal is I want to speak in front of thousands of people. My end goal is to have a really large company that I actually monetize. My end goal is not to be a Tony Robbins. It's not to be a Grant Cardone. My end goal is to be more of a Gary Vaynerchuk, where I'm building a company where I have all this set up behind me and I have a studio, I have a wealth management area. I don't have it up right now, but 100%, you have to have a vision. Okay, and you have to control your thoughts to get to that vision. But the actual, as you use the word, the actual delusion of saying, I love myself and I am happy and I am excited. You project that to the world. Cool, that's awesome. Project it towards the world. That's awesome. But if you project that towards the world, but you don't actually feel that way, is in line as the people that say on Instagram that they're excited, that they're wealthy, they're renting Lamborghinis, they're taking all the money out of their bank account and they're spreading it on their bed and taking a picture and saying, this is how I became a millionaire. This is how you make 7 figures. Dude and ma'am, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. Okay? The person that is self-delusioning themselves, which is not good because scientifically, you are still not healthy, or scientific or bank account wise, you are still not. It comes down to you reach a point where you have to take the action. I think that's where it comes down to. And I understand that it's good to love yourself. It's good to not bully, understandable. But there is this diametric shift in people's thinking. I get that completely, but that's more trying to external validation rather than changing. Everything is about your inner beliefs. Everything is about your inner beliefs. I brought up Conor McGregor and Donald Trump. Those two guys, and I'm not going political, those two guys their internal belief is so strong that what they say, they believe. And that is such a small portion of the population. That is so small. Gary Vaynerchuk is another person where their confidence feels, or at least externally, and obviously they've taken action towards it, their internal belief is so strong that they actually are taking action toward their goal. You know, Donnie, it was him. Conor McGregor was getting 2 belts in the UFC. Gary Vaynerchuk becoming a world-class speaker, getting paid well over 6 figures to speak, and obviously building a company and everything else. Their internal belief. So they started with the belief, 100% agree. They started with the belief, and then they started taking action towards that belief. But the ultimate, and this is where I disagree with this, any movement that denies science, denies their bank account, denies how they actually feel internally, they project it towards outward, but they don't believe it internally, is what is your end goal? What is your outcome? Okay, here's the last example. My mom was, so she was a speaker for 26 years, bless her heart, and she's still alive. It's not like she died. In Queens, New York, and obviously that's, right where I grew up. And it was a rough area. She was the only white woman, pretty much like one of the only white people in the entire school between any of the teachers and everything else. But she had so much respect in her school because she respected her students, number one. Number two is she loved what she did. Okay? So in other words, what I'm saying is it's not about the money. It's not about it. It's about she convinced herself, and rightfully so, she loved what she did. And she did it because she saw that she was making a difference in people's lives. Her ultimate goal was not money. Her ultimate goal was not fame. Her ultimate goal was to make sure that she transformed a life. You could do that as a bus driver. Welcome to this bus. She ran into one of the people that she taught, and this guy was picking up trash for the New York City sanitation department. The screeching halt, truck came to a screeching halt. The guy was throwing trash in. He goes, "Oh my God, Mrs. Botensten, holy shit, didn't say holy shit, but oh my God," came over, gave her a big hug, and she's like, "What, who is this?" And she goes, "You taught me 10 years ago." This guy was happy as sin, or happy as God, or whatever you want to say. Happy as anything. It was his ultimate outcome. The reason I know that may just completely have gone out of your mind and gone away. What I'm saying right now is it starts with thought. It starts thought, convincing yourself, be delusional, take action. Okay? But ultimately, right here, the end thing is you actually have to have a tunnel vision of exactly what you want. This is the thing for other people, is that they have a thought, they convince themselves, they start taking, wait, I don't have a vision. That's the thing. That's why I don't take action, because they don't know what they want. The truth of self-confidence is that you actually have to do something once you've convinced yourself of what you actually want to do. Money, relationships, and here's the last thing. Actually, this is the last thing. So relationships, a lot of people want to be in a relationship, Everyone wants to have, for almost 2 years when I was single living in Murray Hill, there was definite purpose. You have to have a vision, or else you're fucked. Okay. This is the last thing I'm going to say on it, is that I lived in Murray Hill, which is in Manhattan, everything else. For 2 years, I literally approached every single girl that I saw. There was no dating apps. There was only on the desktop, Match.com and whatever. There was no Tinder, Bumble, and all these or whatever. So this was the thing, is that I approached every girl on a bus, on the subway. And this is the thing. This is the important thing. I started to say, as Tony Robbins said, I started to convince myself, this is who I am. This is who I am. I am someone that approaches girls, or I am someone that goes to the gym, or I'm someone that's healthy, enthusiastic, and energetic, okay? I'm someone that doesn't need alcohol as a crutch. I'm someone that is wealthy, okay? That sort of belief, I would say, is the ultimate, because that's your identity now. And guess what you do? You live into your identity. So right now, I actually make a running list of all the girls that I do not approach on the streets. I just passed someone in Whole Foods. Stunning girl. I'll go there. Big fake boobies. Just came from the gym. Just absolutely beautiful. And I was going down the stairs and I was balancing my kombucha on top of my, at Whole Foods, my oatmeal. And I made the excuse that I was balancing kombucha on my oatmeal and I have to go pay for it. But in retrospect, I felt like shit, okay? I could say, I want a relationship, but I wasn't actually taking action because I haven't convinced my identity yet. This is who I am. So get to the point where you actually convince myself, I am someone that takes action toward whatever it is, going to the gym. I am someone that's fit and energetic, okay? When I don't go to the gym, I feel weird inside. It's like Travis Pastrana. He said it multiple times. He said if he doesn't actually do something that is risk-taking, he feels weird inside. It's like, yeah. Because that's who he is, okay? Other people are the opposite. They take a risk and they're like, no, that's not who I am. I'm someone that lives in comfort, all right? Convince yourself of a new identity. I think that's the ultimate goal of life. I am someone that, regardless of what you do, so my new identity this fall is one thing where I have rejection. I would rather, so that's like a little, whatever the hell it is, little, V, and then regret. I don't regret anything. I walked past the most attractive girl I've seen for months yesterday and so fucking annoying. See, exactly. So this is what you actually have to, I actually track and measure the girls that I talk up to, the girls that I talk to, the girls that I ask for a number, the girls that I actually approach, and then most importantly, the ones that I don't, and I actually list, attractive girl at Whole Foods, or someone walking down the street, or the girl that was running or walking her dog, things like that. I actually run a tally because I want it to hurt that I'm not taking action. I want it to hurt when I don't make a sales call. I want it to hurt when I don't actually wake up and go to the gym. I want to actually feel the feeling of regret now, not later. Not later. So that's why I'm saying rejection, regret. Do you start the conversation the same way? I do. I started where it doesn't, I started, even though I may have been thinking about it for 2 or 3 minutes, maybe we're at Whole Foods, I started the exact same way. And you know what's funny? I don't know if there's any guys that are watching right now, but there's a ton of YouTube channels, there's some also parody channels, and there's like prank channels where they walk up to girls and they say, hey, I thought you're cute, or the other ones are like, hey, do you have a boyfriend? And they kind of do it as a joke, they kind of do it to get subscribers, they kind of do it to get views and everything else. But honestly, if there was a channel of guys that actually walk up to girls and they're actually good at what they do, yeah, I think that would, because there's a lot of guys that are just, they are just, it's just so, yeah, it's just like, dude, no. She just either felt bad for you, or she wasn't attractive, or is just really awkward. There's not many guys that are very good at walking up to a girl. And to be honest, so in other words, what I do every single time is I go situational. Situational means I'm at Whole Foods and I see what she's picking up, and then I say, hey, listen, I thought you were cute, or hey, I just wanted to come over and say hi. It really depends on the situation, depends how I'm feeling. But I always have to, this is what I've learned, and this is after 10 years of literally thousands of approaches, where I have to go in and actually say my intentions first, because in New York City, there's a lot of people that walk around and they try and get your signature, or in other words, their signature towards their, political party, or they're from Planned Parenthood or whatever. They're trying to have you sign something. So I walk in not as that person who's trying to get their email or their whatever. I want to go in and actually say my intention. So that's why it is, so the way that I actually bring it up now, if you want me to be honest, is say who's the Whole Foods girl or whatever. I'm usually in a rush, just like they are, and I walk alongside them or I'm right next to them, and if they go a direction, I go to that direction. It's not like I play hard to get or whatever, because the entire interaction is no more than 90 seconds. And sometimes it could be about a minute. And I just walk in and just say the exact same thing every single time. Hey, how's it going? I would kick myself if I didn't come up and say something, or I would kick myself if I didn't come over and talk to you. And she knows. Like, there's no, I don't even sometimes say, I thought you're cute or whatever, because sometimes that may come off as strong. I did that a couple of days ago and it came off too strong. And then I go, it's funny, this is exactly what I do. So I go up and I say, whatever the initial line is, but then I go into something and I say, what are you doing on a certain night? Because if I go in right for the number, they say, no, I have a boyfriend. Even if they don't. And they'll regret it, because they have a wall up initially. Their wall is to initially screen someone. So if they haven't properly screened someone, and they could be, that could be, do you live in New York City? Are you nuts? Are you needy? Are you a loser? If she hasn't properly screened me, she'll say she has a boyfriend, okay? And within 60 seconds, it's really hard. Yes, sometimes they do, but in New York City, there's a lot of borderline guys that can easily put on a front for 60 to 90 seconds, and then he'll lead that he's ripped or that he's got a ton of dough, and then the girl's like, he's a freaking loser, So within those 30 seconds, or within those 60 seconds, hey, how's it going? I would kick myself if I didn't walk up and start talking to you. Blah, 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 small talk. Oh, Whole Foods, holy cow, I can't believe it. Beautiful day out. There's a concert outside, which there is on 6th Avenue. Are you going to it? I don't know who it is. Hey, listen, what are you doing tonight? Or, hey, listen, just casually bring up a night. And then if she says, oh, I'm busy, I said, okay, great. Maybe we'll get together, casual cocktail this week. And I wait. I don't say for her number. I say casual cocktail this week. Silence. Stop talking. And the reason being is that after thousands of approaches, you can't be that guy that makes the decision for her on an approach. Okay? In a bar, you have to differentiate yourself and actually say, hey, listen, let's grab a drink this week. What's your number? Because there's a ton of nerdy loser guys. When you're out, you have to be aggressive. When you're in person, you have to be that guy that it's casual and that it's her decision. It's not your decision. Okay? And to be honest, if she doesn't like my approach, I've had tons of girls be like, no. I would rather her screen me now and not waste one of my nights actually going out than her saying yes. And then, perfect example, there's this girl, we exchanged contact information, and then I was like, hey, listen, are you available tonight? No text back. We went out one time, it was amazing, it was great and everything else. I came off too aggressive, and then I just kind of reeled it back during the first date, and then she just never answered yesterday. I said, good. I would rather her not answer because I'm too aggressive and I'm not her type, because that's who I am. I'm not going to change. Okay, I'm not going to be this passive guy that's just going to fall into a relationship or marriage. All right. So the first thing is, hey, how's it going? I would kick myself if I didn't come up and say something, come up and say hi, whatever the case is. I'm Charles. She either introduces herself or doesn't introduce herself. Small talk. Oh, wow. Yeah. Whole Foods. Yeah. My company's around the corner. I'm just going to work. What are you up to? Yeah, just blah, blah, blah. Fantastic. What are you up to on Tuesday? I'm free. I'm not free. Okay, great. Well, love to grab a casual cocktail. What do you say? Blah, blah, blah. Yes, no. She usually goes into something like, what do you do? Or where do you live? She wants to screen, and I say, listen, I gotta hop out. I gotta get to the office, because otherwise she'll screen and it sucks. Okay. Then you just say, hey, listen, we should just, exchange contact, and she'll say yes, and you always nod, and then she'll give you the contact, and then blah, blah, blah. All right? So I hope that helps. I'm never gonna do a video with a girl actually doing that, even though I've thought about it way too many times of actually going up, and because the way that I do it is I'm very good at, because I've been in sales and I've done thousands of sales presentations, I can feel body language, I can feel the temperature in the room, I can feel people. It's kind of like a heartbeat. So I know when to lean in because she likes it, when to lean out, when to touch on the arm, when to nod, when to go in more aggressively. You know, that is through intuition, okay? But the biggest thing going into the fall after today, right now, is to say my identity is the person that walks up and actually approaches girls. So hope you guys have an awesome day. Leave your comments below. Going to be going live. I finally figured out actually how to freaking do this. If you guys have any questions about that, leave in the comments below. The truth of self-confidence is that after you've convinced yourself of who you are, the next step is actually taking action. But the only way that you can actually take action is if you actually have a vision of what you want to do, number one. Number two is that you're not fronting, that you are not putting something out of who you are. I'm not putting out that I have $1 billion company. I'm not putting out that have chicks falling all over me. You know, I honestly think in the future I am going to be actually getting more people to come to my talks because of how real I am than the people that say, like a Ty Lopez, dude, what do you do? What do you do? How do you make millions of dollars? Or all the other people that I've unsubscribed to because I'm like, this guy's a bullshitter, okay? Look out for the bullshitters, okay? Bob Proctor, not a bullshitter. Grant Cardone, whether you like him or not a bullshitter. He just bought a G550, Jesus Christ, a fucking beautiful jet, a Globe something, Globe liner or whatever, unbelievable plane. Tony Robbins, real deal. Peter Diamandis, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, any of those guys. Not really a Bronson fan. That's how it is. But anyway, have an amazing day. Leave your comments below. Subscribe to the video. If this is your first time, enjoy your Sunday. Take care.